What is going on, guys? DBG here, and this was meant to be a Kyrie Irving gameplay. But then I noticed something. Lads, while I was just trying to shoot around for Kyrie Irving. Because normally, the way I play, big reason why I like to use meter on is for this reason right here. When I play meter on, it meant that prior to this patch, prior to the hotfix, I can still shoot with the button. I shoot quite well. I just need to make sure I'm on Hall of Fame so that you guys don't think that I'm doing anything too ridiculous. No, not that. Hall of Fame. So I could still kind of shoot with the button. I'd hit the occasional shot. I'd green the occasional shot. I missed the occasional shot. But what I always used to do was I'd always fade away with the stick because that was way easier. And then I realized, I'm like, wait a minute. Why is the stick fade away almost in the middle right here? It normally is always way down to one side. And I thought, have I just gotten really good at using the stick or something? And then I realized, literally, the stick's back to the way it was day one. It is back to the exact way that it was prior to the patch. So, off the catch and shoot now, using the stick, if you are good with it, you're going to be greening more often than not. And you're also going to be still hitting that high percentage of whites which you hit before the patch, which is a huge, huge thing. I'm obviously struggling right here because, again, I'm out of practice with the stick. I am well and truly out of practice. But you can do a lot of ridiculous shots. You can hit a lot of ridiculous shots with the stick. I'm just saying that right now. I know I missed that one there, but this is a really common shot to hit. With that previous stick, that was a really common shot to hit. But off the catch, it's the most effective way of shooting because you got to press that, get that L2 boost as well. It still is going to take it's still the hardest to green. Like, it's a lot easier for me to green holding the button right now because I'm a little more used to that. It takes way more skill to aim, adjust, and press the L2 than it does to just time. But right now, it just means that if you want to shoot the stick, it is now still a viable option. Because as you guys can see, I'm hitting white to the button. The button shooting is getting better. They did definitely buff button shooting in one of the patches. But now, at least with this patch, if you want to use the stick, you can, which is massive. So guys like myself who did prefer using the stick are now not at a huge disadvantage and not forced to shoot a different way. I'd gotten used to shooting at the button, but like things like that. Right in the middle, not that shot there, the previous one, right in the middle, clank. Whereas if you're right in the middle with the stick, pretty much every time you know it's going to be green. Heck, sometimes even if you're not in the green window, you're going to still get that green animation if you press L2 at the correct time. And that is one of the things I like about the stick. It's just that little bit more consistent, and there's less randomness to the shooting. Like if you release it well, it's probably going to go in. If you release it bad, you're probably going to miss. Like that one right there was the first time we got right in the middle, and that's because I didn't press the L2 button at the right time. I pressed it too early. So that is one of the big things of the stick that I really like. So what does this mean for the number one issue the last week in 2K? The number one issue that we've seen the last week is the modded controller issue. So what does this mean for the modded controllers? So while they may find a way to mod it, one of the good things is that like I'm pulling down my stick in the wrong position right now. But depending on where you are on the floor, it is nearly impossible, no matter what I do, to bring down a stick in a way that is directly perfect for every spot on the floor. Like the way I'm bringing in the stick now to get my greens from here, if I bring my stick down the exact same way up here, I'm not in the green window. Maybe because I'm slightly off to the left, but if you're right in the middle, the green window is almost always going to be directly in the center or slightly off. So no matter how you bring down a stick, I will slam the stick down, the green window's in the same spot. I'll bring the stick down really, really slow, the green window's in a slightly different spot. So it's all about your direction of pulling down the stick now and where you are on the floor. Like if you're on the floor here, you're not meant to pull the stick directly straight down. Whereas if you're in the middle, what you're meant to do is pull the stick directly straight down. In the corners, I'm pretty sure it's directly straight down as well. Yeah. But that's one of the things, that aimbot no longer works. You also shoot wide right. So I'm going to turn off the meter because you can make almost a homemade aimbot. Let's turn meter off. Shot aiming on. So look at this. Slightly left there. Slightly right. Slightly left. Slightly left. Okay, let me just try find my spot. What I was doing. So I'm holding down a stick. I'm trying to find a sweet spot for the aimbot. Shooting slightly right. Okay, wide right. Like I am literally holding this. I'm looking at my controller. I should be shooting right in the center. There we go, center. Slightly right. I'm not moving the controller. Like wide right. I have not changed anything. So what would have previously been aimbot every single one of those shots would have went in previously. Like, once I hit that center and I held my controller down with aimbot, every single one of them was the same. So shooting, it takes a little bit more skill than just holding a stick straight down. And the shot patch has been just completely reversed, which is huge. Which is absolutely huge, lads. Aimbot has now completely gone. So I'm trying to think, like, what is now the best and most effective way of shooting the ball? I still think shooting no meter is kind of the way people like to do it from last year. I think no meter versus meter with the button is irrelevant. I played both. I cannot tell the difference. A lot of players, I understand in Pro-Am, when you get used to a player's release, it is without question easier to use no meter. The top players in the world, it's easier. Even last year when there was a boost to using the meter, when it actually was easier to use the meter at the end of the year than it was to not use the meter, there was actually a boost. It was still a lot of people struggled using the meter even though it was a boost, because it's just kind of awkward to look at. So if you're already shooting no meter button, I think if you're good enough at it, there's no reason to change. But for me anyway, the meter is still the way to go. First of all, off the jump shot, it makes absolutely no difference if you're using meter or no meter. It's absolutely none. But for me, the way I think I would stick with it, I think I would go with the stick, to be honest. I think, depending on what your position is, because I'm not a guy who's going to be breaking some dude down off the dribble, crabbing somebody, and then looking to shoot with square. Because it is kind of awkward. You can get used to it a little bit. Like, say, for some of the dribble moves, if you can get in front of somebody, quick stop into a quick shot with a stick. But it's a lot more difficult than just pressing the square button. It's a lot more difficult than coming off a screen, peekaboo, or it's a failed attempt at a peekaboo, shot. Coming off that screen, quick. That's a bad, like, failed quick stopping twice. But it's a lot easier to quick stop with square button than come off something, quick stop, and go right into the stick. And adjust the stick. It is a lot more difficult doing that. So, it all depends on the style of player you are. I personally think catch and shoot, the most effective way is whatever you're comfortable with. Off the leaner, fades, the best fadeaway is the stick. No question about it. If you're someone who shoots a lot of fadeaways, it's the stick. It's the stick. Shooting fades with a stick will always be OP because you have a ton of time to readjust the stick, and it's a lot easier to kind of time with the stick, to aim with the stick than it is to time on a long release. If there's somebody with a slow release, I'm trying to think, is there anyone in my team that has a slow release? I like all these guys' releases. I'm trying to think, is there any? Isaiah Thomas. So I don't particularly like his release off the button. I don't. It's a decent release, got goal corner specialist. I think it is slow and has a really weird set point. However, using the stick, it is a lot easier to get into that green window. Even though the green window is kind of quite small. How am I struggling this badly with him? But the prime example for someone like this is Bill Laimbeer. Bill Laimbeer was worthless after the stick patch, but the stick patch has been undone, which means he's a hell of a lot better. There we go, that's a green there with Isaiah Thomas. Should be greening a lot more than this though. I'm getting right in the middle, and I'm pretty confident. I'm timing my L2 press just like I was timing his jump shot wrong. Either way though, I think guys like this with slightly slower releases and slightly lower 3-point ratings will excel from the stick. You're going to be seeing guys, especially in Unlimited, when you go down to what is basically the equivalent of Pro. Like, Unlimited is basically the equivalent of Pro. You're going to be seeing guys, especially guys like Isaiah Thomas, with their ratings, green everything. You're going to be seeing guys like the Busher, green every single shot they take. Like, the Busher is going to be so good. That 75 rating is going to feel like 95 with the stick. Like, you will still hit them with the button. Don't get me wrong, you will still hit with the button on those lower difficulties. But on those lower difficulties with lower rated players, the stick is the way to go. Like, even on the Tyler Hero challenges that nobody could do, I went 3 of 10 with Hero. And for me anyway, it suddenly makes guys with like 70 ratings a lot more viable, because they will consistently be able to shoot from the corner. Guys like Vin Baker become better. A lot of guys become a lot better. So anyway, yeah, that is pretty much it. 2K have completely changed everything about the game. Again, what do I think I'll do? I don't know. I really don't know. I'll experiment. I'll see whatever way I'm comfortable with. I think I'm still going to play meter on. I really think I'm still going to play meter on. I prefer it to meter off. I think when I'm playing Pro-Am, I probably will end up shooting with the stick, because when I play Pro-Am, all I will be doing is chilling in this corner or the other corner and just holding the stick down and shooting. So I think that makes things a hell of a lot easier. But in my team, it all depends on who the players are. If there happens to be god tier players with really slow releases, then the button or the stick is obviously the way to go. However, like, if you've got a fast release, the button's the way to go. Like, for someone like a Kyrie, where his release is probably a little bit slower, probably better with the stick. However, Steph Curry, definitely better with the button. Steph's release is super quick, especially his leaner. Like, his leaner is so fast that it's very, very difficult to shoot with the stick. As well as that, guys like Patty Mills, when base 98 guys come, it will definitely be more effective to shoot with the button, because he will not have enough time to really adjust the stick. Obviously, I'm playing right here on pro difficulty, unlimited difficulty, so shoot those deep leaners every single time, because why not? However, shooting really is now a case of what you are comfortable with. There is no objective best way to shoot. So anyway, yeah, that is pretty much it. That's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
I think you only love me cause I'm popping. This a layup, this a rebound, then it's robbing. Tyson with the fade, not the hair, my hands rocking. When I link with ball point, you know